YouTube, once again, we're talking college sports in the Deep South, where college football is king, and on the plains of Auburn, the battle cry is War Eagle. Kennard Vernon Stewart, once again, for Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn here on the podcast tonight, where we're going to be talking some Auburn football, War Eagle. Now, for the past few days, we've been talking about impact players that we feel will have an impact in 2019 for the Auburn Tigers. Some are veterans, some are guys that are coming right out of high school who we feel will have some immediate impact, if nothing else, to provide some much needed depth in some key positions. We talked about Charles Moore yesterday because we feel, at least I feel like he can provide a little bit of athleticism, a little bit of depth to an already talented squad. And I think he's going to get off the bus ready to play. I think Charles Moore is going to have an immediate impact. Obviously, I think Owen Papo, the sky's the limit for this kid. He has a unique skill set, and he has a very, very unique humility for someone who had such a decorated recruiting process. Okay? So, as we continue with our Impact Player Series, now mind you, while you guys are getting caught slipping, so to speak, this Oregon game is way closer than you can imagine. We're at the home stretch now. In a couple of months, Auburn will be taking on Oregon, Pac-12 Power 5 football team, who as recent as 2014 were in the college football playoffs. Kind of thought that they would win it after thrashing Florida State, but subsequently lost in the championship game to Ohio State. Produced a Heisman Trophy quarterback, Marcus Mariota. Oregon, kind of like Auburn, is looking to be relevant in their respective conferences again. Because once you get a taste of that thing, you really, really just can't wait to get back to that degree of relevancy. And it helps morale with the fan base, but importantly, it really helps for recruiting. It's very attractive to win. That's just like in life, period. It's just attractive to win. Nobody wants to be on a losing / mediocre kind of team. Now, when we look at the depth wide receiver wise for the Auburn Tigers, Auburn actually has a wealth of talent that will be returning at the wide receiver position. Zach Farrar, actually a transfer from Youngstown State, adds to the depth and the talent of this wide receiver core. You look at guys like Matthew Hill, of course you got Eli Stove, Will Hastings, Sal Cannella. All of these guys are going to be great this particular football season. You have to also add in Andrew Schwartz and who we feel will be an all-SEC producer, Seth Williams. Big-time player in Seth Williams. He had a pretty good season first year, 500 yards, and some very nice catches and runs on this year. Ryan Davis, actually Auburn's all-time leading receptionist, is leaving. Well, has left. Okay? Now, we all remember Ryan Davis because he made some of the slickest moves. It's like a little snake when he catches the football. Very hard to tackle. Can sneak, intermediately and make some big things happen. Was very effective on the bubble screen that Chip Lindsey used to like to throw. One of my most memorable moments of his jet bubble screen is the play against Georgia. I want to say midway through the third quarter, after Ryan Davis made that play, we pretty much kind of sort of started to get the inkling that game was over. Also, he made a very, very good move against Alabama where he kind of tucked his head under the defender and got some extra yards, kind of starting the momentum of the Alabama game back in 2017. With Ryan Davis's departure, there's a guy out there that Auburn recruited here in 2019 who he's drawing a lot of comparisons to Ryan Davis. And that's a pretty hefty comparison because we feel like Ryan Davis was one of the more memorable receivers in recent history. The guy we're talking about is JaVarrius Johnson out of Hewitt-Trussville High School in Trussville, Alabama. A lot of y'all are probably thinking, where the hell is Trussville, Alabama? Well, it's located like somewhat in the Birmingham area. And anyone who's familiar with Alabama, Birmingham is the largest city in the state of Alabama, also produces some of the best athletes in the country out of that particular area. When you talk about Hoover, Pinson Valley, all of those schools produce some of the best talent in the nation, especially in the Southeast. Okay. But when we talk about JaVarrius Johnson, I'm not going to necessarily say that he reminds me of Ryan Davis. I just want to see him, once he puts on that college uniform, to see how all this talent that I see in the video footage, I want to see how that's going to transfer over to the college ranks. Now, at first glance, it looks like it's going to. This guy is very quick, guys. When he catches the ball, it's a wrap. He's gone. Okay. Also, what I really like is his footwork. He has some amazing footwork, and especially in the intermediate part of the football field. As a matter of fact, on video footage, you will see. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the video footage in the description today. Sorry that I don't have the video footage up today. I was kind of pressed for time, but I wanted to get this information out here to y'all. But either way, his footwork in the intermediate part of the football field, he kind of faked like he was doing an out route. Then he did a double move back to the interior part of where the linebackers usually hang out. And he was wide open, and he made the nickelback look foolish on this play. That shows some of the athleticism and some of the ingenuitive factors that JaVarrius Johnson has that Ryan Davis had. Making something out of nothing. That play actually wasn't open, but he made a really nice double move to create some separation in the intermediate part of the football field. So that's what we feel that JaVarrius Johnson, some of the things that he can offer. Also in the deep route. Now, we talk about Will Hastings and Eli Stove. I think, based on what I see on video footage of JaVarrius Johnson, I think he can be another short guy, deep threat. Because, see, when the game starts to get you start to get a little worn down, you have a shorter guy like JaVarrius Johnson, Will Hastings, who can sneak out on you with that quick double move, and he's wide open. So that's another area where I think he could be very impactful, because he could have the Ryan Davis / Will Hastings effect because of his speed. And he's very fast. I really, really was impressed with his speed. Had a few offers from some SEC teams, actually was looked at by Florida State and Alabama, teams like those, but didn't receive offers from them. Got an offer from Mississippi State and Kentucky, and also, of course, committed to Auburn this past signing day. That's what we look for in JaVarrius Johnson, or that's what I look for. I don't want to say we, because y'all might be seeing something else. But in JaVarrius Johnson, that's what I see. I see him being somewhat of a Ryan Davis / Will Hastings. That's a lot of what I see on film, because he's a huge threat deep as well, and can also help. See, this is the problem that Auburn had last year. Just couldn't get real deal separation. And that's what causes that time clock to go real quick in that pocket. And next thing you know, you see Jarrett Stidham running for his life because there's no one open downfield. Why? Well, it's a combination of reasons. Well, Nate Craig Myers decides to leave. Okay, that's one receiver gone. Also, you got two of your main separation getters in Will Hastings and Eli Stove gone down with ACL injuries last year. So now what do you got? You got an Andrew Schwartz who's super talented, but you just don't really, the skill set as it relates to route running wasn't all the way there. He started to get way better at the middle to the end of the season. I thought he should have been getting more touches myself. But at the same time, you just never know what the schematics call for. But I think Auburn is in a much better situation receiver-wise, especially having that depth and that experience of Eli Stove and Will Hastings coming back. And adding a guy like JaVarrius Johnson, 4-star recruit from Trussville, Alabama, by way of Hewitt-Trussville High School. Very, very productive in his career there. Hoping that those stellar numbers can transfer over to the college ranks. You know, career-wise, 3,298 career receiving yards, 17.6 yards per catch, averaged 113 yards per game, and had 32 total receiving touchdowns in his career. Another area that I think JaVarrius Johnson can be helpful, I think he can help Auburn out in the kick return game as well, as Ryan Davis did. Hopefully that, you know, if they do decide to take a chance there, of course, you know, you're going to have your ball protection that will be a factor in a decision like that. But I could really, really see him making some noise as far as adding some depth into the special teams by way of kick returner for the Auburn Tigers as well. All right, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. We're talking about JaVarrius Johnson, a 4-star recruit out of Hewitt-Trussville, Alabama, made the decision to come to Auburn. A lot of folks think he's going to be like Ryan Davis I think he's going to be like Ryan Davis / Will Hastings. Okay, guys, let's go ahead and get the comment section going. Like this video. Also subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Until next time, my name is Kennard Vernon Stewart, and it's always great to be an Auburn Tiger, War Eagle.